Next up, we got a great stand-up comedian, everybody. David Stoll.
Thank you very much. How's everyone feeling? You comfortable? Good, you're gonna be here for a while. I'm not comfortable. I can't find clothes that fit me. I can't go into a store and say, hey, do you have anything for someone who's 6'1" and weighs 75 pounds? No? Oh, okay. I did see one shirt I liked recently. It was a Second Amendment t-shirt. This t-shirt said the Second Amendment on it and said, the right of the people to bear arms shall not be infringed. I like that. I thought that was cool. I want to get one. I want to get one for the Third Amendment. It's the one about quartering troops. I'll say the Third Amendment, and I'll say, no soldier shall, in a time of peace, be quartered in any household without the consent of the owner, and don't you forget it. This is America. You can quarter a troop in my cold, dead hands. Happy to be here for the ECCS, the Emerson Channel Comedy Salad. That's what it stands for. You might think it's for special. It's salad. That's what those letters are for. I really killed the momentum with that salad thing. I did that. We did 2 tapes. I did that the last show, and I had the same thought, which is, this is gonna change comedy. Emerson Channel Comedy Salad. People are gonna be jumping out of their seats for that. I'm not here to talk about big issues at the Emerson Channel Comedy Salad. I'm not gonna talk about big issues, because I'm a white guy at this. But like there's a lot of controversy about police in this country, and I think a lot of really important conversation happening. I don't want to participate in that. I just want to say something that I think can bring us all together, which is, how great are firefighters? So great. What's the worst thing a firefighter's ever done? Like save too many people? Look too handsome on a calendar? Even the word firefighter's great. Like fireman, I don't know. Because like firefighter, it's not only badass, it's also politically correct. Like fireman, you're like, I don't know. Firefighter, you don't know what gender I am. All you know is I punch fire. Bought a TV on Craigslist, because I love deals. HD TV, listed for $20, I said I'll give you 15. Guy said, yeah, that's a deal. It was in the North End, and I live in the South End, and those are opposite places. It was very hard to get to my place. It was incredibly heavy, but as I was pushing it out of this guy's apartment, this maintenance guy saw me and was like, hey, are you going down with that? I said, yeah, so he helped me get it into the elevator. And then we went down to the first floor, and then he said, wait here, I'm gonna get a dolly. So he goes and gets a dolly, we put it on the dolly. We're then pushing it out of the building, and he says, hey, can you open the door for me? I say, yeah. I go, I open the door for him. Then he says, no, not that door, that door. And he points to this other door on the side that looks like a service door or something. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe there's like a ramp out that way or something. So I open that door for him, we get into this room, and then he puts the TV down, and then he just points to a pile of garbage and goes, yeah, just set it over there. I was like, no, I bought this. He was like, oh, looked like garbage to me. My grandfather's brother was really sick a few years ago, and the doctor said, like, yeah, he doesn't have a lot of time left. So my family decided to go visit him. My family lives in San Francisco, and my grandfather's brother lives in Seattle, or lived in Seattle. He's passed away now. And it's a very strange thing, planning a trip to visit a dying person. Because it's got to be like, okay, we're gonna drive up to Bellevue, stay the night, and we'll drive to Seattle. We'll see Uncle Bud one last time before he leaves this world. Then we're gonna check out the Space Needle. I grew up without a dad, and that's okay, because you don't really need a dad. You do need a dad, it's just that anything you can get from a dad, you can also get from watching the movie Field of Dreams. It's a great movie, right? Like, I didn't have a dad growing up, but like, I got the gist of the dreams. My dad was a sperm donor, and that's strange. So I grew up having no idea who my dad was. I was always wondering about who it was, and crazy things happen in your mind when you don't know that. Like, I remember as a kid, sometimes I would just sit and stare at a wall and be like, how cool would it be if Will Smith were my dad? Wasn't him. Just a guy named James. I did some research about my sperm donor. I found out that I have 13 half-siblings. 13! 12 of them are from other donations, and then one is like a real kid that he loves. I was doing research on my sperm bank, and I came across my sperm bank's Yelp page. Not great, you guys. My sperm bank got 2.5 stars. I want to read you some of these reviews. These are real reviews of the Sperm Bank of California, most of them negative. Now there's one positive one. This one comes from Patrick S. And Patrick writes, I came to realize in 2007, it's really not that hard to die. Bold opening to a Yelp review. That should be the beginning of a Tim O'Brien story, not a Yelp review. And he goes, I came to realize in 2007 it's really not that hard to die. And then he says, and that's when I started thinking about storing my genetic material. Most people, when they realize how short life is, think, oh, I should take more hobbies, I should spend more time with my family. This guy's like, I gotta freeze my ejaculate. This next one, more negative. This is a 1-star review. Comes from Thomas A. And Thomas A. writes, the Sperm Bank of California is running quite the operation. For starters, they promise you lots of money to be a donor. After 3 months, I never received a penny, and God knows what they did with my potent, marketable sperm. Marketable? It's doing great in all the key demos. He goes on to complain, in 3 months, they always had the same ragged, nasty porno magazines. That's right, not even a video or a computer. Like he just masturbates to computers, like, yeah, Dell. This one comes from Graham M. This is another 1-star review. And he writes, this one's weird. He writes, the first time I've been there was actually earlier today. Same day review. I didn't know that I have to make an appointment in order to make a donation. I mean, I didn't have enough time to read or go through their official website, and I don't care who I give my sperm to. I just want to go in, fill out some forms, make the donation, get money off of it, then leave. Well, Graham, that's not okay. Graham's just like, I just want to go in, get paid to masturbate, and leave, no questions asked. There's a screening process, Graham. And then he says, that middle-aged blonde woman told me to leave very rudely because I didn't make an appointment. And I'm like, okay, then maybe I'll call to make an appointment first and then come back. And then she's like, you need to leave. You know, in a way like she's gonna call the police. I left a review for my sperm bank. You can go to the Yelp page and see it. I said, this place gave me life, which is pretty neat, but I got depressed a lot in college. 2 stars. All right, thank you very much. I'm David Stoll.
How's it going, everybody? I'd like to first off apologize to people that look at the poster and saw Sam Smith, and this motherfucker came out. My sincerest apologies. It wasn't until I came to Emerson College that I decided to add the Benson in. I just used to go by Sam Smith in high school. And the weird thing was, being at Emerson College, a lot of people have hyphenated last names. It's a standard, like, progressive marriage type thing to have. But that's not the case with me. It's my middle name. So when I added in, I went from sounding like a Grammy Award-winning artist to sounding like I'm a f***ing law firm. So I don't know. However, Benson is my grandmother's maiden name. So I guess I get bonus points for that or something? Probably not. So kind of big news in my life recently. I'm the youngest of 4 kids. That's not big news. But my oldest brother just had a kid. Come on, birth. Furthering of humanity and everything. So it's big. Like being 21 years old, like now I have a niece and it's cool and like, but like a lot of roles change in my family now. Like my sister is an aunt and I am an uncle. I'm Uncle Sam. Like thanks parents for that one. But and then like my mom. This is the craziest thing to me. My mom's a grandmother, which is just crazy. Also Granny Smith. Like, and my dad's dead. Everybody nice and uncomfortable now? Okay, good. So what you just heard is called a dead dad joke. And mind you, I'm in the dead dad joke prime of my life because I'm 21 years old. If I'm a 55-year-old stand-up comic and I'm still making these jokes, statistically speaking, it's not funny because your dad should be dead at 55. So I'm trying to take advantage of it, people, you know? So it's actually a huge sign of trust. So all of you, to make this joke to all of you, and when I first came to Emerson College, I lived in an LB triple, which if you guys are familiar with those are like doubles basically. And my roommate Patrick, who's in the audience, that's Patrick, people. And he was sitting on his bed. We were in a very tight room. He's sitting on his bed, I'm at my desk, and he's on his iPad. Mind you, we were at an art school, so he's probably trolling through the Birkenstock section of Pornhub, naturally. And I'm at my desk eating some Captain Crunch, and I pour myself a bowl, and I pour my milk in, and then I look at the side of the box, and it says, hey, Mom and Dad, this is how you log into CaptainCrunch.com, because you have to consent your parents if you're below the age of 13 to go online. Good rule to know. And I just look at Patrick, I look at the box, and I look back at Patrick, and I pull out a Sharpie marker, and I cross out Dad. Guess not. So yeah, it was a little bit jarring for him, I would say, but you know, bringing it back around to my dad passing, it's what can you say? It was his fault. You know, he died young. He died of lung cancer. He was a smoker. For the sake of this segue, so I recently quit smoking. 3 weeks, yeah, pretty good. But going along with it, even though we go to an art school, it's not a cool thing anymore to smoke. It's not like Mad Men or anything like that. So like when I would go to parties, I would like have to sulk with my little Miller High Life that was half full of water and like just stand on a porch and be cold and people would give me dirty looks and they would spit on me and then they would throw sand at me. And there's not much I can do. So I was on the T a couple months back, so about 6 months back, and I see this ad and it says, are you between the ages of 18 and 35? I said, yes. It said, are you a smoker? I said, yes. It says, do you suffer from a history of clinical anxiety or depression? I was like, F yeah. That's the first time anybody has reacted that way to that question, mind you. So I start this medical study, and it's through Harvard Medical Center, and I get approved, blah, blah, and basically long and short of it is they give me a carton of cigarettes, free cigarettes. Cigarettes are very expensive, like $30,000 a pack nowadays. So many researchers need to check that. But all I'd have to do is I would have to exchange my blood and pee, which I am trying to get rid of as fast as possible at this point, for logging these little cigarettes in my little logbook. And you know, when I would be at parties, then I'd be going outside and people were like, Sam, what are you going to do? What are you doing? And I'd say, guys, excuse me, I gotta go do some medical research real quick. Everybody, we got some great comics lined up for you tonight. Specifically next, we have Nako Narter. Give it up for Nako!
I have to start over because it wasn't in the mic. I wasn't very prepared. I wasn't very memorized, so I just had to write this down on whatever was lying around, which happened to be this, I know. It's just what was in my house. Sorry, super embarrassing. So I'm Nako. Little fun fact about me, I'm Asian, which a lot of people don't know because they're so used to thinking of me as just like that Jewish girl. But I am Asian. It definitely didn't help that my parents named me Hanako, because it sounds so much like the Jewish word gefilte fish. But sometimes if I really want people to know what my race is, I'll wear a Uniqlo jacket just to make it super apparent. So yeah, now that we've established my identity as a woman of color, I would like to point out to everyone that this is not a post-racial America. I have to deal with a lot of double standards. For example, when like white people play guitar, they're considered cool and talented, and yet somehow when I play guitar, it's considered an automatic fail on the driving test. So yeah, unfortunately, I am an Asian woman who happens to be an abysmal driver, truly terrible. But it's only because I'm lazy and stupid, which are two very uncharacteristic things for an Asian person to be. So in a way, I really think I'm a hero. I'm a walking negation of Asian stereotypes. Just a few more examples. I'm not very good at math. I'm not docile. I can't read. And I have a monster dong. Yeah, you guys know how if you like are in a room with someone and you fart, you're not that embarrassed if that person is a baby? That's kind of how white people are with saying like ignorant things in front of my people. I think it's because they think like babies, we like haven't learned English and won't tell on them. So that's happened a few times. For example, I was with my friend Ryan, who's twice as Asian as I am. And by that I mean he was wearing 2 Uniqlo jackets. We were out on the town, and we stopped at this street corner, and we were waiting for the light to turn green. And there was an old Asian man playing an old Asian instrument, and this white woman walked up and waited 4 seconds before asking Ryan if he knew how to play that instrument. And he gave her the benefit of the doubt. I was just like, sorry, no. She on the benefit of the doubt and clarified by saying, you know, because you're both Chinese. Just in case he wasn't sure. So like I said, he's twice as Asian, which means he's also twice as honorable. So he just said, sorry, no. Me, however, I had that fiery Yankee blood coursing through my veins. I was ready. I was gonna throat punch ignorance. So in my head, I was like, here's what I'm gonna say. Well, excuse me, ma'am. Certainly, as a white woman, you must know how to play the fiddle, because all white people know how to play the fiddle. And what I ended up saying in my real mouth was just to scream, do you play the violin, ma'am? She just kind of looked confused. Probably just had never met a stupid Asian person before. And Ryan looked very ashamed. And then the light turned green and he ushered me away before I could further shame our race. I say our because while I'm not actually Chinese, a man called my mother and I Chinese bitches once, and I am nothing if not the things that men call me on the street. So quick survey, what'd you guys do this summer? Internships and travel? Cool. So I just got like a bunch of tickets. Bad driver, what can I say? I get it, it was my fault. There goes the money that I could have spent on like 11 fountain pens, but I understand, it's my civic duty to pay these tickets. What really grinds my gears is they were for street sweeping. Why? Why is that a thing? If you're gonna sweep somewhere so badly, like sweep inside where nobody's parking, maybe? Anyway, the last one was for vehicular manslaughter, but like, get over it. You guys know the icebreaker, if you could have dinner with anybody, dead or alive, who would it be? My answer is always Rush Limbaugh, dead. A lot of people have been getting kind of angry about the representation of Asians in the media. For example, my sister recently saw 16 Candles for the first time, and I was like, what's up with this long dog dong guy? This guy seems like very offensive. And I said, no, his name's Long Dong and he's an Asian man. This is the best thing that could have happened to us. Like, maybe don't be ungrateful for once in your life, you know? This generation. I do think it's kind of weird what the media chooses to focus on. For example, Brangelina's divorce is getting a lot of press right now, which I guess is fine, but there are other things going on in the world. For example, there's been like a media blackout on my parents' divorce. Probably because theirs is interracial. That's just me guessing, though. There is an Asian woman who works at the dining hall who reminds me a lot of my mom. She's never looked at me or like talked to me, which is probably why. Just kidding. Yoko is the best. Yoko's my mom's name, which is really exciting for people when they realize that all the Japanese women they know have the same name. They get so excited. In fact, my mom's told me that multiple people have had the reaction of saying, "Oh, your name's Yoko? Well, my name's John." I know Donald Trump wants to build a wall to keep immigrants out. I think telling jokes like that would be a much cheaper option. We will stay away. I also never got like making fun of Asian names, like being like, "Oh, your name's Dong? That's just another word for which is a name that we use, but it's weird when you do it." I was looking up Japanese baby names recently because my uterus was aflame, and one of the ones I found was Mizuki, which means felicitous or auspicious omen. And I thought it would be really funny to name my kid Mizugi, which means bathing suit. Who's gonna know, you know? Everyone in Japan's gonna know. Other funny names, you guys know Trader Joe's, like the pinnacle of cuisine? So they also have like their Latin American food, which is Trader Jose, and then they have their Asian food, which is Trader Ming. So I did some research on what the correlation was. So Joseph means God gives you a son, and Ming means shining tomorrow, which to me seems like an antonym. If I found out God was giving me a son, there would be no shining tomorrow. I would have to drop out of school, I would have to raise a child on my own. That doesn't sound fun, does not sound like the things that Trader Joe's stands for. You guys, I worked at a summer camp this summer, and there was a lot of affluent children, and something I learned about the wealthy is it's like a cool thing to be bad at being around just physically. Like historically, it used to be very unattractive to be muscular because it meant you were working in the fields, or it was very unattractive to be tan because it meant you were working in the fields. And I think now it's very uncool to not have allergies because it means you've been working in the fields. So like all these first grade campers had all these allergies, so they'd have a little name tag and say like, "Hi, my name's Persimmon, and I'm allergic to persimmons." And every day we would have all the allergy kids line up first because they're important. And then I get stuck with like the little commoner peasant kids who like can eat all the food. And then every day I'd say, "Who has allergies? Go to the allergy line." And like 3 kids would raise their hand and be like, "I'm allergic to pollen." And I'd be like, "Oh my God, why are your parents force feeding you pollen?" And they'd also be allergic to stuff that we are not gonna serve them. Like, "Cody S., it's time to chill. We're not serving you star fruit." Like, we don't have that. I don't know how you know you're allergic to that. You've been around for 6 years, dude. My sister is reading my old copy of Grapes of Wrath from high school for class, and I annotated it, which is kind of cool because you can kind of communicate through the years to each other. And she said what I've communicated to her is that I didn't read this book. She said it's a lot of just like questions in the text, like who? Is that my sister? Co? Okay. I'll just ask questions like, who's Job? 2 pages after Job has been introduced. And by the end, it's just me scribbling in plot summaries I clearly got from online, just hundreds of pages from where it's happening. So yeah, I didn't read the book. I did read the last part with the breastfeeding. I just wanted to like have my pulse on the culture. I just wanted to be in. I wanted to engage in the conversation. Another way I like to be cultural is to listen to pop music. One pop song that I like to listen to is Haley Steinfeld's "Love Myself." And when I was listening to it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is just like Blister in the Sun, because it's about masturbation. Which most songs are, if you look at it. Here's just some real titles of some real songs. Me, myself, and I, my right hand, hands to myself, bet you can't do it like me. I know what you did last summer, and I can't feel my face. I was in a vibrator store, sorry, Mom, called Good Vibrations. There's another one right there. And in the store, they were playing Let It Go from the 2013 film Frozen. At first, I was like pretty angry and appalled. And then I was really angry and appalled because I realized it's also about masturbation. Yeah, Snow Glows White, Kingdom of Isolation, Let It Go. Wasn't even subtle, Walter, Disney. Yeah, so one of my roommates from last semester had this incident where she went out with like a white shirt and no bra, and she said she was made to feel very uncomfortable because everyone was staring at her nipples. And I was like, wow, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna do a little social experiment for feminism. So I put on a white shirt with no bra and I went outside. And sure enough, everybody was staring at my nipples and no one said anything about the fact that I was completely bottomless. In 2016, you know, you would think we would have all passed that. And as a feminist, I'm actually getting very sick of the stigma around peeing your pants. I peed my pants in the 9th grade on a trampoline, and my friends made fun of me, but like certainly not enough. It set a terrible precedent, and I've continued to pee my pants I did it a lot. I was untouchable, especially when I peed my pants. Yeah, you guys know it feels weird? Taking your swimsuit off to poop. You guys know what feels even weirder? Not taking your swimsuit off to poop. The first time I got my period, I thought I had pooped my pants. I was 13, I was in 7th grade, and I looked into my underwear and it was stained completely brown. I thought, oh no, I guess it happened. I guess I pooped. Disposed of those, put on a new pair. About a half hour later, sure enough, same thing, and I said, oh, that's peculiar. That happened twice in a half hour. And I called my friend, and I was like, yeah, guess what happened? She's like, dude, no, you got your period. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, that makes sense. In retrospect, I was way too prepared to accept the reality that I shit my pants twice and didn't notice. Like, to me, it was like way more in character to shit my pants twice in a half hour, not notice. That was more likely than starting puberty, I guess. Yeah, recently someone was comparing sex to stand-up in that, you know, it's vulnerable, it's a performance. I also think sex is a lot like stand-up in that I keep sending videos of it to my parents and they keep asking me to stop. So yeah, that's my time. Thank you so much.